Loot.bet. Do you want to become the best Dota player you can be? DotaHaven.com.
Hey guys, Killer Pigeon here at the Kuala Lumpur Major alongside PPD, the man, the myth, the legend. NA Saviour moved to become EU Saviour, I believe is the new goal. But you know, still doing your work back in your own hometown, home country, because of course you are the founder of NADCL.
Correct, thank you. Thank you for the plug.
There you go, you're welcome. Sponsored by, and we'll say off that, but I think that's a nice way to open up, is because you know that's something. It's kind of you giving back to the community. There's no real money in it at the moment, I'd say.
No, not really. I try to do a lot of things, and I just think that I'm always like a pretty ambitious business guy, so I'm always like looking for cool new opportunities, and I figured I'd get to give a lot back this way and put some money into the community that I love and enjoy. So I don't know, it's just a cool thing to do. Like my brother plays in it and stuff, so it's great.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of interesting because I've heard a lot of negative things said about like high level pub games in the NA region.
I mean, everybody says that about every region, right?
Yeah, I think it's like the most one I hear the most is like this weird mentality is the moment one thing goes wrong in a game, it's done, it's over, move on to the next one, which is something I do hear a lot of more in the NA region. Is that one of the reasons you say you kind of identified that you want a more serious ground foot?
I think that anybody that has experience playing on a team before, they'll tell you that it's a totally different experience than queuing up for matchmaking with 4 random players. It's Dota at its heart is a team game, and there's supposed to be this like teamwork and cohesion and everybody working together to try and win. And sometimes matchmaking isn't always like that. And this isn't like, I'm just trying to give teams the opportunities to play and compete if they're not one of the best 2 to 3 teams in the world qualifying to these illustrious events that we participate in.
So like, from your perspective, is this your concept of what maybe Facet's attempt at an in-house league should have been?
I think that in-house leagues are kind of cool, but the problem is that everybody expects them to be, people think they're going to play in these in-house leagues and they're going to play with PPD and they're going to play with Arteezy and Cred and Fly and all these like super popular, amazing players, and the truth is that that's just not going to happen. Like we're crazy busy and we're practicing with our teams all the time and traveling, and then with these in-house leagues, when the players would play, sure they'd be great for the week. Players are at home and they have time to pub, but when they go traveling, all of a sudden none of these guys are in these games, and these players that think they're as good as the pros when they're not, their egos get in the way of thinking that they can play with lesser players, and oh, this guy messes up all the time and he's not as good, and these games are usually higher quality, so I'm just going to go play matchmaking and wait for everybody to come back. So it's kind of a vicious cycle. I'm not sure that those in-house games really have a place in Dota. There's also just a brilliant matchmaking system already in place, to be completely honest. Ranked matchmaking is kind of just a big in-house league. Like it does try to match you with equally skilled opponents as best as the formula can.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I think the comparison people always look at is what Face had done with CSGO. But the difference with the Counter-Strike community is that in-house league was there from the get-go before they really had a matchmaking system, so it was their center, whereas Dota has always had its own matchmaking.
Yeah, they also just have like major problems with like hacking and cheating, and it's difficult to police things like that in CSGO apparently.
So with NADCL, like, where do you see it being in a year or two? Do you want to get to a stage where you might eventually host LANs, if that was possible?
This is turning into NADCL interview. This is great.
I know it's a big thing for you. So.
I have big aspirations. I've had the privilege to kind of touch on a lot of different aspects of Dota. I got to manage EG for a while. I've been captain. I've been a player. I've been on the analytics desk. I've done casting. I've kind of seen like just about all of the angles before, and I've never really had the opportunity to run my own tournament. And so this is kind of like a cool thing to do, and it's neat because I've done a lot of streaming. I stream somewhat frequently, but it's difficult to actually be like this full-time streamer personality to actually find success as a live streamer when my schedule is, I'm just flying to different countries every other week. So it's really fun to put a project like this together and watch it happen. I like being the CEO, I guess. I like organizing people and completing tasks, and that's kind of what I do on my team the team captain already. So it's a natural transition, and it's been a fun yet stressful process building a business.
It's basically the whole, I don't know, we're going steady right now. You and NADCL, you're like, well, we're going steady. No long commitment just yet. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, it's pretty small scale. It's not like a huge commitment, and I've had a lot of positive feedback about it from people within the league and even people outside the league looking at it. So I'm hoping that we can continue to grow. We are doing a season 2 and for NA, and then I'm looking to expand to EU for season 3, which will be after the China Major, before the Stockholm Major. The idea is I run them in between the major and minor qualifiers,
Yep.
so that way when there's this downtime with the teams that don't qualify to the events, there's still something and then some place for them to compete, and it gives them incentives to actually practice and actually improve as teams rather than just sit idly back and wait for the next chance at a DPC event.
It's interesting because I remember when you first announced it, there's a lot of people like, where's EU region? When's that coming? It's like, it's nice to see you reaching out. You're like, you come across with NIP, you're like, okay, I'm here. This is, I'm now EU, boys.
Yeah.
No one in the EU is doing this right now, so you're here to be our savior as well.
Yeah, like I said, I'm just really inexperienced. I've never done anything like this before, so I just wanted to start small, build a really cool product, and then go vertical and then go horizontal. So hopefully, season 2 of NADCL is a much more polished project than season 1. We had a plethora of problems, as anybody who's trying to do anything for the first time can relate. And I think season 2 is going to be even better, and hopefully by season 3 we'll be able to seamlessly transition to different regions.
It's esports. If something didn't go wrong, we wouldn't be esports.
That's everything that we try to achieve in life, I think.
Well, let's highlight a little bit about you as a player. Obviously, earlier this year you were with Optic. There was a surprise. I don't think many people expected the complete disbandment of Optic. We expect shuffles. Any inputs on behind the scenes of what happened there?
Oh yeah, totally fine. I've been decently public about it. I don't know if I've really talked about it too much on the interview, but I'll give you a little scoop here. After TI, you kind of do like you get eliminated, and you go back and you have the talk. And you're like, all right, guys, what's happening? What's going on? And I actually told everybody on the team that I think we had a really successful year. It was my first year back in Dota. I think that we made over each one of us made over $150,000 or $200,000 in prize money. So plus salary, it's hard to consider that not a super successful year for a Dota player. And for a lot of the guys, myself or Pycat, Netta, and Quinn, it was their most successful year to date, right, in their careers. And for Zai, maybe it was kind of a bit of a downgrade from EG, or maybe just kind of like a lateral move, right?
Yeah.
And it looks like he had this offer to go join Team Secret, so I offered everybody to stay on the team. Everybody wanted to consider their options, which was super unfortunate. I wasn't really expecting that. So as a result, I had to consider my options as well. And I went out there looking, and I found a great group of guys, and ended up keeping Netta. And I don't know, we're just pushing forward, doing our best.
I think that's the interesting thing is, I'd say NA is probably the most open region when it comes to the contract with players. It's like every organization respects that you can't force a player to stay here if they don't want to be. It's very open. You move, it seems like the further you go east, you go to Europe, it's a little bit of a mix from what I've seen. CIS is starting to get like a mini China, and then China itself is very strict.
Yeah.
Which way, I feel like my personal opinion would be like the NA approach is better for longevity of players.
Well, it's a big power struggle in Dota for esport orgs and against Dota teams and players, because it isn't like traditional sports, and it isn't like other esports where generally a team won't go out and sign a player; they go out and sign a team, and that team comes as a package deal. So it's kind of like NIP comes to me and says, Peter, I want to hire you and your team, right? And we all come together. So if we can't come to an agreement as a group of 5, then there's no deal. And that really puts the power in my court, and it takes it away from NIP. And that's kind of what we've seen in Dota in the last couple of years, mostly because prize pools are kind of the only incentives. We don't really need esport organizations. Sure, they're nice. They give us a little salary on top of any prize money that we earn throughout the year. They, maybe they'll give us a manager. Maybe they'll, provide us a place to boot camp. But realistically, like most of us in Dota have a lot of people in Dota have been fortunate enough as players to where we could actually pay for all those things ourselves, and we could go out and hire our own manager to do everything for us. We don't need a team org, right? So they're kind of replaceable or dispensable. So the power that they have it's not very much.
Yeah, it gets really weird in the tier 2 scene, especially where essentially these orgs can't really offer you anything but exposure, because you should go to the good old classic, and for a lot of upcoming players that's not enough. I'd say Dota is a very unique esports in that kind of, its ecosystem is that way, where players are empowered.
The ball is in our court. Yeah, I've begun to realize it more and more throughout the years that the players themselves actually own Dota, and esport orgs, tournament orgs, everyone else in between us and Valve are pretty much just middlemen profiting off of our laziness and disregard for inconvenience.
Dota 2 is the Wild West of esports, these guys call them. It's just, for a long time it's been left to its own devices, and now it's so big. We see them trying to tame the DPC circuit.
It's really cool because Valve, they aren't trying to be controlling, right? They're not trying to take over LCS or Overwatch League the way Riot and Blizzard have. They say, we are game developers. We developed this awesome game. Do whatever you guys want with it.
So moving on to your new roster, NIP, which you're part of. They were surprised reemergence. We haven't seen them for 3-4 years.
I don't remember. They had some of the TFT guys, and maybe a mix of the TFT and the Alliance guys. Used to be on the old NIP, and that roster wasn't to the level of success that they were looking for. I think that Betway, one of NIP's biggest sponsors, I think they've had a lot of success in CSGO with the NIP roster there, and they're looking to do similar things in Dota 2, so they've been a huge partner for us in making this happen for NIP and for my team. And we're just looking to represent them as best we can.
So who's the biggest threat? Who's the biggest threat on your radar right now in terms of opponents?
We got Virtus Pro next, so they're the only ones I'm really thinking about. If we don't manage to beat them, we have to play in the lower bracket immediately after against TNC. So they're our second in line most likely. And if we manage to beat BP, which I'm really hoping that this is the time I can finally take them down. And I think that we have the skills and the talents and the preparation, and I'm hoping that we're ready, but we never know. And I think that Team Secret is. I think that they are very, very good, and I think that they make teams nervous when you play against them, and that's always a scary thing to do. So we got to go in there and hopefully play them in the upper bracket final or play them in the grand final and take a game and realize that we can actually beat these guys and use that momentum to close out the series.
I think it's fair to look at Secret. They are the scary ones. I think most of all because, as we've seen recently with Brewmaster, I think my favorite one I've ever seen them do was at Dream League when they done a Terrorblade support. They tend to just throw these wacky ideas out there that no one really saw coming.
They're not afraid to be outdrafted. They just play the game really well and much better than everyone else currently. At least in the games that they've had to play.
Which he'll be hoping to change when he goes up against them.
Just hoping that we can get a good draft, and I'm hoping that we can actually play well rather than make a bunch of mistakes and cost ourselves the game.
Let's get a little bit puzzle piece on PPD, right? Everyone's got Dota as the main thing in this world, but you gotta have a backup hobby, right? So when you get home and you make yourself a cup of coffee, pour your soul in, start. What is your go-to time passer, burner, whatever you want to call it? What's your favorite thing to do when you spend time?
In my spare time, or I guess how I like to relax, I guess would be a better word for it. I do a lot of cooking. My apartment complex is on the top of a grocery store, so I can just take the elevator down and go to the grocery store without ever leaving really my complex. So it's super convenient.
Always fresh.
Yeah, I just get off the PC, turn on some music, go cook for an hour, hopefully eat some semi-mediocre food, and that gets me away from the PC sometimes when I need a break. But honestly, I play Dota all the time. I work really hard on it, and I also work on NADCL, and I have a bunch of ambitious business plans for myself and for Dota, and there's no better time to get after him than now. So that's what I'm after right now.
All right. Well, any last words, fans, everyone watching at home?
Fans, yeah. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. I appreciate everybody taking an interest in what I have to say. Thanks for asking me to do the interview.
Thank you for
And
accepting.
I hope everybody enjoys the tournament. Win or lose, I'm gonna have a great time. Hopefully a really good time with some W's, but happy to be top 6 and looking forward to seeing how far we can go.